All right, welcome to our video lesson today. You're going to head to the very back of your book. We took some notes before, so you're going to flip to the next page. Okay. So the back of that one page there, I just had the pencil. All right, so technically we are taking notes about fractions still. So let's say that D was baking a cake and needs 2 1/3 cup of sugar. Okay. My question to you, you don't have to write the question down, but you can if you would like. And actually, I'm going to stop and say turn on volume. You really can't do this lesson without listening to me, okay? So what is the whole? Write your answer underneath that first line. What is the whole? So I bet some of you would say 3/3, 1 whole, and some of you might say sugar, and some of you might say 1 cup. Okay, so we really need to define what is the whole. And really we're looking at sugar in the beginning, but are we sure? Are we sure it's not 3/3? Or if we thought it was 3/3, are we sure it's not sugar? What about 1 cup? What about 1 whole? How do we know? Unlike the sandwich example, maybe this time we take a look at the fact that our number that we have is 2 1/3. So that was 1 sandwich, right, that we had cut up into different size pieces. But here we have sugar. Sugar can be the whole, but we really need to define a little bit more clearly what the whole might be. So in this case, with baking a cake, maybe the whole is 1 cup of sugar, okay? So this is our definition of the whole for this example. But if we brainstormed a list of what the whole could be, I think we would come up with even more than these 4 ideas. Maybe the whole is the whole bag of sugar. Maybe the whole is all of the sugar needed for the recipe. Maybe the whole is all of the sugar in the store that we bought this bag of sugar from. Okay? Just like with our Fruit Loops. But for this case, we're going to say that 1 whole is a cup of sugar. How does that apply to then our real world problem of debaking a cake and needing 2 1/3 cup? Yeah, this would mean you have D has 2 whole cups and 1/3 cup of sugar. Essentially, she has more than a whole, right? How could I take this information and make it into just a fraction? So like not a mixed number, but just a fraction. I want just a fraction. We have to ask ourselves, in this circumstance with this specific problem, we know what the whole is, but how is it represented numerically? Because again, all of these fractions, right, we're not changing the fact that we're talking about sugar, but we are changing the numerical representation for what that would look like. So we look at our denominator. Our denominator tells us what a whole is worth numerically for this specific example. So then how do I know what the numerator is? Well, I have 1/3 we already know, but then what would our 2 wholes be? 2 wholes would be 3/3 plus 3/3, right? 1 whole and 1 whole. And we know how to add like fractions, so that's 6 plus the one that I have up here. Okay. So I have 7/3. That would be what our fraction looks like. All right, I'm going to switch the screen and give you a problem. I want you to do your problem solving right here below the notes. So I'm going to switch screens, and in your book, you're going to answer this story problem underneath today's notes. Problem of the day. The 5th grade swim team has won 2/3 of its meets, and the 4th grade swim team has won 3/5 of its meets. If each team attended 15 meets, how many meets have they won altogether? So you're finding 3/5 of 15 and you're finding 2/3 of 15, and then altogether should tell you which operation, add, subtract, multiply, or divide, in order to solve the problem. So I'm going to hit stop on the video soon, but what you can do right now is pause it so you can continue to see this problem of the day on the screen and then work through solving it. So go back and hit pause if you forgot to pause. Have a great day. We'll talk about this